For me, it was just, like I said, I've always had a passion for filmmaking, and I wanted to pursue it, but I was always scared of what people thought. And you know, you're not taking the traditional route of getting a pension, you know, getting the benefits that everyone tells you to get this safe and secure job. And for me, it was just like, I'm gonna do this. And I did it later on in life. My only regret is that I didn't do it earlier.
I've always lived on purpose. When I was younger, got into a plane crash, train accident, car crash, and almost drowned within a 6-month period of time. So from that point on, I've always understood that I was a gift from God.
I always wanted to be an entertainer. I just didn't know how I was gonna do it. So I decided in 2006 to start pursuing acting. Acting is very difficult. Or should I say the business of acting is very difficult.
Okay.
Especially if you take it in the wrong direction. A lot of actors wanna be paid to act. And you basically just sit around never acting. Once I came across a different perspective that if you really wanna act, you'll act for free.
Listen, the first thing I always like to do is first and foremost give thanks to God for it all. Secondly, thank you to the YouTubers, the TikTokers, the listeners, the Instagrammers all across the world. Thank you so much for allowing us to grow and growing with you. Thank you for tuning in. Now today, I have independent filmmaker Wilfred La Salle alongside cast members of his new movie, The Veteran. I have Lancelot Theobald Jr. and Yanko Valentin. Guys, welcome to the podcast. How are you guys, baby?
Good, man. Good, man. It's good to be
We're
here,
back.
bro. Good to be here.
How are you guys feeling today? First and foremost, let's start there.
Wow. Well, I feel good.
Okay.
I feel good. It's a beautiful day out today.
Yes.
We've been going through it in terms of New York City and the weather.
Of course.
And it's like 60, 70 degrees out. So
It feels like summer.
yeah, it sure does.
It
So
definitely feels like summer.
It's a beautiful day, man.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, blessed and grateful. So
Phenomenal. Will, how you been, man?
Great, man. Thank you for bringing me back, man. And now I got the two leads for the
Yes.
veteran here, man. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you guys for coming on the podcast. We got a lot to discuss, a lot to break down about the independent film industry, The Veteran as a movie coming out as well. And we have another premiere we're going to talk about on this podcast as well. But last time I spoke to Will, and I got sort of his upbringing, how his mom was a single mom and his life in the Bronx and how it was back then. And we shared a lot of that in that conversation. I would like to know a little bit about you guys as well. Upbringing, where you're from, all that good stuff. Who wants to start?
You go first. All right, I'll go
This
first.
is a free conversation.
All right, we're
Down
going
the line.
down the line. All right. Well, I'm from Brooklyn. I grew up in Brooklyn. I was fortunate enough to have two wonderful parents that are still together to this day. In fact, they were at the premiere last week, and they see me on TV, but they have not seen me on the silver screen.
Beautiful.
So this was an incredible moment for them and for me to watch them experience it in real time. Grew up in Brooklyn, was a ball player, athlete, the first half of my life. Lived, ate, and shit sports. And I then, after playing professional football in Europe, and I tried out for the New England Patriots and then the New York Jets.
Wow.
After not making both those squads, I then moved on and became a manufacturer first of sporting apparel.
Okay.
And then from there, I moved into executive producing. And then from there, I found that in front of the camera was really what I enjoyed. And I started studying acting, and I actually am the first professional athlete that has ever gone back to school and become a dancer and choreographer as a profession.
Nice.
I'm a master tap dancer, master tap dance teacher, hip hop choreographer, hip hop teacher, a hip hop dancer. So I went back to school and went to school with kids 8 to 16 years old and studied ballet, modern, jazz, and tap. And after 4 intense years of taking 20 classes a week, I started getting work.
Nice.
And so that, in a nutshell, and I'm also now an author. I have a podcast, it's actually a TV show.
Beautiful.
This is why I admire your setup.
Thank you.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Bravo and continued success. And I see you 4
Appreciate it.
years in, man. That's very difficult.
It definitely
That's
is.
very
It
difficult
definitely-
to stay consistent. So
we could definitely dive into the creative side of things.
Yes.
It takes time and effort.
That's right.
And, painless nights, you just going through it. And Will knows, and we're going to deep dive into like the process of things. But as a creator, it takes a lot from you, but you love it. What
That's
else can
right.
you do, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yanko, talk to me a little bit about your upbringing.
Let me see. So I was raised between 101st and Manhattan Avenue on the Upper West Side and Washington Heights until I was about 20.
Okay.
And then went to the Army. I was there from 97 to 2005.
Wow.
And then came back to the Heights. And then I worked as an emergency medical technician / paramedic until about 2013. And then I left that job and I just been pursuing acting ever since. So
All three of you guys pursued acting.
Yes.
Before acting, you guys were doing different things. Now, before we deep dive into what we're definitely going to talk about, what was that thing that said, you know what, this is what I truly have passion for in different areas, of course, because you're independent filmmaker, you guys are actors and stuff like that. What brought you to this? Will?
I think my background's a little different, but similar in the sense, I never think I'm a great actor. They can both agree that I'm a terrible actor.
Keep saying that.
These guys are the actors. They're the ones that do the work, and I think that the work of the veteran speaks for itself. For me, it was just, like I said, I've always had a passion for filmmaking, and I wanted to pursue it, but I was always scared of what people thought. And you're not taking the traditional route of getting a pension, getting the benefits that everyone tells you to get this safe and secure job. And for me, it was just like, I'm going to do this. And I did it later on in life. My only regret is that I didn't do it earlier.
Damn, a lot of people resonate with that because, just put fear in somebody's heart based on what they want to do and they'll stop.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So, and it's only you. You're putting yourself in front of yourself. That's it. It's only you. You could just pursue it and continue to go. By the time you know it, I have 5 years doing this. You guys have years doing your craft.
That's right.
And who was going to stop you now? Now that you truly believe in yourself, you know what I'm saying? Will, what brought you guys into acting specifically? Because I heard a little bit about what you guys did before, but what was the turning point that said, I want to be an actor?
For me, I've always lived on purpose. When I was younger, got into a plane crash, train accident, car crash, and almost drowned all within a 6-month period of time.
Oh my God.
So from that point on, I've always understood that I was a gift from God. This is how I thought.
Yes.
Because you can always take different experiences away from tragedy. But I decided at a young age to take tragedy, that trauma, and turned it into my triumph. You know what I mean? And because of that, I've always looked to do things that made me feel a certain way. Sports made me feel a certain way. And I searched for something that would make me feel the way I felt when I played sports. So as a manufacturer, I started something, but it wasn't making me feel that way. So I then went on to something else. And I stumbled into acting because I was an executive producer first. And acting and dancing made me feel the passion and the purpose that I always felt I had. So then I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do now. Now, the key to it is if you're going to do something, then you do it to the best of your ability. 100%. And one of the reasons why I really love working with Yanko and Will is because they're craftsmen. Yanko is about his craft. He studies, I study, I continue to study. I've been in this business a long time. But it's about mastering your craft and loving what you do. And then getting around other people that love what they do. So
Steel sharpens steel.
Steel sharpens steel, bro.
Steel sharpens steel.
I live with purpose and passion because I surround myself with people like that.
Even when I meet other podcasters that I see with the same energy that I have from my podcast, it just builds. You build that connection. Like, wow, you have the same passion I do. I can
Yes.
see it, and you feed off each other.
Yes.
And you give advice to each other, and you're like, go back and forth. Hey, tweak this, tweak that. So it's amazing to be around people. That's why people say surround yourself around people that have
Vibrational
your
energy
vision,
and frequencies. That's
that
right.
vibration and frequency.
That's
You
right.
said it perfectly. Yanko, what brought you into film acting after all your experiences? Because we all have done different things.
Yes.
But now we're here.
We're all here together. That's
Yeah.
right.
For me, it was, I grew up watching cartoons, MTV music videos, and professional wrestling. So that was my entertainment. I didn't really think about acting until I got out of the Army. And I always wanted to be an entertainer. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. So I decided in 2006 to start pursuing acting. And then in 2010, I was introduced to a professional wrestler that had a school in New Jersey. And he said that I should look into it. That, you know, seeing that I could possibly be, you know, a good wrestler. And I said, okay, I'll take a look. You know, I always loved wrestling, so I said, why not? And I just did that for about 10 years, you know, while still, acting is very difficult. Or should I say the business of acting is very difficult.
Okay.
Especially if you take it in the wrong direction. A lot of actors want to be paid to act. And you basically just sit around never acting. They call themselves an actor, but they're not acting. So once I came across a different perspective that if you really want to act, you'll act for free. Because you do it because you love it, not because you want to get famous. Or, I mean, yeah, those are great perks. But if you want to do it for the craft, learning the craft, to become good at the craft, become, you know, a thespian, not just a television or movie actor, then there's certain steps you got to take. And once I learned that, then it got easier for me. Then I started being able to do independent films and off-Broadway plays, which you don't get paid for, but you get to act. And then started going to school, and I get an opportunity to act in school. So I did that, and I just been doing that ever since. And it's just I love it. I love it.
You said something very key there where everyone should ask themselves if they're going to pursue something that they believe they have passion for. Will I be able to do this for free? Before I even start, do I have enough passion for this that I could do it for free? This is where this is created too. This is definitely for free at this point because I'm not getting paid, of course, but I'll do this 10 times over and over again because I love to do this.
Yeah.
As Will said, he came here maybe a year ago,
Yeah,
a year and a half ago. It looks different now because I've been tweaking it to a point where I feel like this is like a beauty to me.
To perfection.
And I come in here sometimes and I just stay shocked.
Yeah,
Looking at what I've created, and I'm like, thank you, God, for the vision, because without your vision, none of this, you know, it's crazy how you're passionate and you're doing it for free and it becomes a beautiful thing. Then now I'm inviting people from all walks of life. And when they get here, they're like, wait a second, I need to go outside and enter again with the camera just to take a look at this, because this is amazing.
Amen.
So amen to that. You know, it's like, so yes, you hit it in the head when you said, if you're willing to do it for free, it's definitely connected to your passion.
Exactly.
Will, you know, last time we met, you was building up momentum for The Security Guard. I went to the premiere. It was a dope movie, excellent cast. Of course, you guys were all a part of it. What's changed creatively for you since then?
It was we got so much press and so much media on that film. I think for me, the pressure was on after that film. I think we could both agree that when the film did so well and I was getting onto all these news networks, it was like, all right, well, what's next, right? Because everyone's always waiting for the big boom. All right, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to top that film? That was a lot of pressure. And I said, all right, well, Yanko and Lance are going to lead the film. When I told them they were going to do it, I said, look, you got big shoes to fill, but you guys are going to kill it because I believe in you. I believe in their craft. Yanko is one of the greatest method actors I've ever worked with and probably the greatest in the world. Lance is phenomenal. So these are both craftsmen in what they do. They are two of the greatest actors the world has ever seen, and I'll put that on anything. And they were tasked with the follow-up to the security guard. And I told them, I said, look, we're going to bring it.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, you didn't get to see the film because you weren't there, and I know you had other stuff. But the reception of the film, just like when we were playing the tribute video, and everyone just cheered, and that was the best feeling. I don't think people understand like what it does for me is it's not the film itself. It's how they feel. Like I'm watching them watch the film that we've all created, but I've seen a million times. And seeing their reactions, seeing Lance get emotional towards the end of the film, and I saw that, and then it was powerful because it was like, wow, like we all had a part in this, we all had a hand in that. So it was the pressure of stepping it up. I was like, all right, I got to really level this up, right? I can't continue to make films if I'm not getting better. Then I'm failing. So that for me, that's what's really changed.
You know, it's funny you say that because coming from a film such as The Security Guard, where it was about a parent and a child, a single parent of that, taking care of his child, and something so tragic happening in a school, you know, it's a very, very dramatic movie in a sense, right? Very intense. It's no joke in there, right? So when you transition on to The Veteran now, and we're gonna dive into that, how do your life influences for you specifically? Because I'm gonna ask Yanko in a moment because he's also a veteran. But for you, how do your life influences transfer from The Security Guard and applied it to The Veteran?
Well, I always pour a piece of my life into every character in my film. For Amari Russell, I poured a lot of my experiences as an NYPD school safety agent. But for this film, I poured a lot into Lance's character, Maxwell Cade. And he knows what I'm talking about. Without giving too much away, it was the relationship he had with his wife. And her wanting children, him not, him wanting to chase success. That was deep. I watched my wife watch that. And I was watching her the whole time. And without, being personal, but also not being too personal, that's my life. A lot of Maxwell Cade is me. He's a risk taker. He's everything. And Lance over-delivered on that. And I got to tell you, man, you did phenomenal. These two gentlemen believed in me. When Yanko's been with me since Graves, Lance has been with me since Hilo 3. I think the biggest task also is the fact that there's so many people who believe in me. That pressure also mounts because it's like, well, they're dedicating their time, their craft. They're taking time away from work, from their families. I don't play with anyone's time. It's the most precious thing that you can ever play with someone because time is the enemy. We think we have an abundance of it, but we don't. And I wanted to make sure that their time is respected and their vision of what I promised them, I want to always make sure I over deliver. So for me, my experiences were just that. We're just pouring into Maxwell Cade, but also paying homage to our men and women who serve the country, like yourself and like Yanko, because that's what it's about. I mean, when we look at it, the veterans are the ones that are being left behind. I thought the film was radically different than what we did with Security Guard, but it touches on many things. We're touching on opioid crisis. We're touching on mental health. He's legally prescribed the opioids, and his life just spirals.
Yanko, question for you, because I know that you are a U.S. military veteran, so am I. So we understand that there's a lot of discipline when you are in the military that you're taught. It teaches you life lessons at a different capacity, right? But how did you take, in filming The Veteran, and you being the veteran in the film, was there any anxiety attached to you creating that film?
No,
or you being a part of that film?
No, there was no anxiety because I had a good understanding where I was coming from. Being in Iraq and then coming back and the things I saw while being in Iraq, I now understood how a veteran can become homeless. It started to make sense. And as a matter of fact, I was just having this conversation with my girl earlier today that the PTSD that a lot of people are experiencing, it's not the fighting, it's not the gunfights, it's not the explosions. there's something that happens in these environments, these war environments, that are not spoken about. And, you know, it's for a reason, legal issues and whatnot. But that is what really gets you. And you have to, it's a coming to term with God and the devil at the same time.
It definitely feels that way.
And being able to understand that now, especially for the veterans from Vietnam, that they had it the worst.
They had it the worst.
And a lot of things are not spoken about what happened in Vietnam. You know, they give you the rainbow sugar-coated version of it. So for me, being able to tap into that and have an understanding of what Jose Torres is going through and why it happens, although as you know, military personnel, we're made to overcome anything.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's that one thing that you can't overcome. And that's the thing that made Jose Torres just spiral out of control, you know? And it gets away from you. It's one thing. And then while you're trying to get that one thing under control, a second thing happens. And then a third thing happens. And it's just, it just becomes too heavy for you to carry, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You know,
So
as I'm hearing you, right? The reason why I asked, was there some anxiety attached to you being a part of the cast and that being the veteran in that role, is because I couldn't do it. I know if I was an actor, I wouldn't be able to do it because it'll bring so many flashbacks. The last podcast that we had, Wilfred, I was discussing that I went into a veteran shelter because the line of work that I do now is creating events in different veteran shelters, churches, YMCAs, public libraries, etc. Right? Just offering opportunities, jobs, trainings for everyone, specifically veterans. So when I went into the shelter, like I immediately saw myself in all of them. And it was insane because it's like there's, like you said, in the military, they train you up to be like this machine. Like you don't feel anything, you don't see, you just move, right? It's only when you step away from it, after a while, it depends. Every veteran is different. For me, I used to get like spiral emotional moments in the middle of the city heading to work. And I didn't understand it. And it'll start like that. I didn't understand it, but I didn't pay attention to it either. I just kept it moving because military mindset, I'm a veteran, I'm still in this mindset, right? But that happened so many times in my life that I'm like, wait a second, what the hell is going on? And at that point, for some of us, it's too late to even seek therapy because we're so far gone.
exactly.
Or, you're just in time, but then in therapy, you got to face this huge mirror that's showing you your entire past and beyond that, because now you're going into your childhood. So it's a lot to deal with. It's your childhood, your time in the military, your time outside of the military, everything you've experienced. So that's where I'm like, you got the perfect guy for the role because he is a veteran and he could understand it better than anyone else to play the actual role. So I'm pretty sure it came out in the screen. It definitely came out in the trailer. I apologize for not being there for the premiere. I had other things, of course, but when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this is going to be dope. And he has an actual veteran playing the role. So he understands it more than anyone else.
And he did a phenomenal job, man. I mean, he over-delivered, man. I mean, the method acting, what he did, playing the older Jose Torres in the film. I mean, we're talking about, he was putting, I would be a little explicit here, but he's putting urine. I mean, he really took the train with the dog, did everything to bring that character to life. And it shows on screen. I mean, the work that he's done, the work that Lance has done, translates onto the screen. The audience can feel it and they can definitely see it.
Yeah. Now, Lance, your role played hope, opportunity, structure. You had an abundance of wealth in the film, right? How was it you playing that role? How did you approach playing that role as an assistant mechanism for a veteran at that?
Well, I had created a backstory for my character where my brother I lost, who also went to Afghanistan. So, and I lost my father through cancer. So it was like, you can have all the money in the world, but family, it's just decimated. And so when you build that backstory, and then you play it up against a person that's living the character for real.
Wow.
It's, I get emotional now just thinking about some of the scenes we did together and how real it was. So, and also I got an opportunity to really spend time with billionaires. I rode in the plane, I rode in the cars, and I built a character based off of the fact that the billionaires are the simple ones. Those are the ones that are not trying to floss. They're not trying to be extra. It's the millionaires that are trying to be like the billionaires. But the billionaires are the ones that are looking to help. So I understood that. And then I also understood the plight of a veteran, because then I had an uncle of mine that was in Vietnam. We just talked about that.
Wow.
That was just decimated. He never was the same when he came back. So all of that together, it just, I used to just look at him and just burst out in tears because he was so, it's a beautiful movie, man. It really is. It really is, bro.
That was definitely going to be my next question. Was there a scene in the movie that all of you guys couldn't take it emotionally? Like you guys couldn't surpass at a certain point?
There was a few. Yeah. When I watched it on film, when I hired him to come back and work, I gave him a job and cleaned him up. And when you watch him come in the room and you don't know who it is, and then you watch, I might be giving away too much.
That's all right. You could say it.
But it just floored me. Even when we taped it, when he came in and I looked at him, I had to hold myself because it was so real. It was like this man had just lost everything. And then my character helped him bring himself all the way back. And then he in turn turned around and helped somebody else out, which was just, oh my God.
It was a lot.
It
was a lot.
It's beautiful, man.
Will, you casted this film correctly, man. You hit it home because you brought it home because you not only got a veteran, you got someone that experienced the other side of helping someone, meaning lost uncles, family members. And, as I mentioned, coming from that lifestyle, it's hard to detach yourself from it when life is life in itself. Like you're becoming a civilian, like people who came home from Vietnam, you see them not being the same person. People coming home from most recent wars are not coming home the same because of the experiences they had. And they just have to come back and simulate life as a regular person again. The veteran affairs, the VA itself, there is a lot of benefits there, but I don't know what was your experience, Yanko, but I don't really remember being told or about all because there's an out processing in the military. I don't remember that part where they tell you everything that you are like entitled to benefit wise. I had to do a lot of research myself. So that's sad. And there's a lot of resources that I had to look at and I'm like, oh, they offer GI Bill. They could pay me to go to school. Oh, there's a 0 VA loan, home loan. Oh, there's other loans, there's burial loans. So now I'm all over the place, but I still have to do the research myself. And even in that, you as a veteran, looking at everything that you are supposed to attain from the government is tough when the government itself doesn't tell you. So kudos to you on casting gentlemen that have lived these experiences, man. Let's take a little bit of a left turn, right? Let's talk about the film industry as a whole, right? What's something that all of you kind of could say people romanticize about the film industry that is definitely not true?
Yanko, go ahead.
Yanko, you're the guy. You're up.
One thing I'm going to use the word dislike, is that people online now, with social media, everyone has an opinion, and what they don't understand is the opinion that the person is giving is based off of their own experience, not everyone's experience. So me and Will, on our way over here, we were having that conversation, which I was telling him I was having with my girl yesterday, that she was asking me, did you know that being an actor was going to be this tough? And I told her, I said, yeah, I knew being an actor was this tough because, you know, I don't want to make it a this or that, but the stories that are written for people that look like me and that look like Lance are not the ones who are writing for television shows and big budget movies.
Yeah.
So, you know, to make it as simple as possible, when you go to an audition and you're auditioning for a TV show that the writers cannot write for a Dominican, a Puerto Rican, a black, the chances of you getting that role
Tough.
is very slim to none. That's just reality of it. You know, if I'm gonna write a movie about Dominicans, am I gonna hire someone that's not Dominican that to be able to authentically tell our story? No, you're gonna. Do you understand?
You're desensitizing the culture. in
Exactly.
totality, yeah.
So you know, I understand this. I understand this because you know when I'm 49. So in the 80s, you didn't see. First of all, there were no Dominican actors, and if they were Dominican, they didn't
say.
tell you they were
didn't tell you.
Dominican.
Yeah.
All right. Very few Puerto Rican actors, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. So for me, when it came to being an actor, it didn't happen till after I got out the military because now the internet was available. If I wanted to be an actor in the 90s, there was no internet.
Yeah.
In Washington Heights, there were no actors. And if they were actors, they weren't going to tell you because now they're going to see you as competition, right?
Yeah.
Imagine two Dominicans in a room for one role.
You know, talk about the fear, what we talked about earlier about you putting fear in your, or somebody putting fear into your project or speaking fear into your project and you literally stepping away from it. Like, that's crazy because back in the day, of course, there was minimal cultural acts, if you will, right? But now, like you said, there's the internet. So now there's that opinion, which for some reason, the internet has a voice, right? So that in itself, because it's not one person telling you, like before internet, before social media, you know, we interacted with each other a lot more in close-knit environments, right? Now somebody from across the world or 10 people, 20 people from across the world could tell you suck. And here you are letting go of your passion because people you don't know are discouraging you. And it's crazy. So then you're in a hard place because here you are passionate about something. You're willing to do it for free. But here are some people shitting on your whole situation and just like disseminating your whole passion. So it's crazy. What about you? What do you feel that people romanticize, Lance?
Romanticize that, again, that it's easy and that everybody's going to be for you. You know, it's got to be a passion. It's got to be a love.
Very true.
And you can't, I mean, with the people that you love, they don't understand, you know, the passion. They don't understand the drive. They don't understand why you're doing this for free. They don't understand why you're around this person. The only person that understands that yourself. And you've got to be able to stand up. And it's hard because you're talking about serious relationships. You know what I mean? And they just don't get it. But then you have to understand that why they don't get it.
It's not their vision.
It's not their vision. You know? And I've been doing this a long time. Long time. And these opportunities that I'm getting, I embrace and understand how rare they are. And when you get somebody like Wilfred, who not only delivers, over-delivers, that's not something that you see very often.
You really got to believe in yourself, man.
You know what I mean? And when you find somebody that believes in you, but is willing to get out there and do the work, then listen, man.
Because it's two separate things.
That's right.
You believe, but
And
you
then
got to
do
put
it.
in the work.
That's right.
It's not just, this is not like, oh, this is what I want to do. Give it to me. No. You're going to have some challenges. And the challenges are there. They're meant to break you.
That's right.
You got to pass through that and then look back and say, I've been through 18 different scenarios that I could have let go of this whole podcasting situation, but I'm here.
Right.
And then people start to come on and say, wow, I knew all
I knew
along.
he was going to do it. That's right.
I knew it all
I knew
along.
You had it in you.
Always.
Yeah.
You always had it in you. Oh, this is a beautiful. Oh, okay. Now you're getting these type of guests. Wow, I always knew it. But the least to actually give you that interaction in person and tell you, hey, I'm proud of you, right? So it's crazy. What do you feel people romanticize? Because you gave it off to Yanko. You said, go ahead, Yanko, because I got a lot to say too.
Well, Yanko has a lot of great insight. He's, Yanko and Lance both have great insight. I learn a lot from both of these gentlemen, both in personal and on set. So I'm thankful for that. But I always say you got to fail your way to success. If I listened to my wife, I wouldn't be making movies right now. And thank you, Yanko, for telling her that at the premiere.
Yes, sir.
He told my wife. My wife was like, "Did you make him say that?" I was like, "No." He told my wife. He goes, "Thank you for not. What was it? Thank you for not killing Will's dream."
That's right. Thank you for not killing Will's dreams.
My wife. If it was up to her, I have 6 kids driving a Dodge minivan and 500,
I'm this
500
close to
pounds.
getting a minivan, man.
But listen, no one will ever see your passion but you, right? I always said this. Like, people always ask me, "Well, what's your definition of greatness?" And it's not an accomplishment. It's not a number of films. It's leaving people better than how you found them.
Yeah.
That to me is success. And when you have two great actors like Yanko and Lance that believe in you, and I say, "Look, guys, this is what we're going to do." I mean, I pushed them on set 250%. I mean, I drove them probably crazy. And they stayed and they believed in me. And then because of that, I went even harder. And I was just like, you know what? I gotta go hard. But for me, the film industry is oversaturated, like Yanko said, with a lot of instant gratification. We were talking about how people want to go viral. People want this. They don't want to do the work. They want to be an overnight success. It took me 6 years. And I don't even think I'm an overnight success. I think now the world just took notice of the security guard. Like, all right, well, this guy will exist. Yeah. He made a film. And I guess I'll tell everyone, the security guard is my 6th film, but to the world it's my first. It's the first introduction to who I am. Okay, there's a guy named Wilfred La Salle. He makes independent films. But the reason I do this is because of them, right? If I can kick down the door and give them opportunities that I had to fight for, that makes it all worth it. Because if you think about it, what I am doing is not just revolutionizing. I'm also trying to change lives. I'm trying to change the way the industry is. I know it's far-fetched. And when Yanko talks to me, he tells me his gripes with things, I take it very personal. I don't think he understands that. I hold it close to my heart. He's like, Will, this and this, you have to know this person, have this connection. I'm trying to do this with no connections to show him and show the world that, hey, man, you know what? I'm going to try. And, it's like launching missiles and hoping that they land. I'm launching 1,000 missiles. Yeah. And people are like, Will, how are you on these dudes' networks? How are you doing this? I'm like, dude, I'm just working. I'm just throwing everything out there. I'm launching every nuke and hoping it hits. Everything. Blindly, figuratively speaking. And it's just like, people are like, oh, they have this certain image. And we were talking about this. Oh, Will, we see you on Instagram. You're on all these news networks. You're so successful. I am failing every chance I get. Yeah. I want that to be very clear. When people see me, they have a certain stigma. Oh, look, this is the filmmaker who's always on this. And this is the guy who I had nothing handed to me. We know that. We've spoken before about that. We spoke. And a lot of people see me and they see me as this El Blanquito, the guy who, I'm half Puerto Rican. I grew up in the projects. I grew up in public housing. I was homeless. A lot of people don't know that story. But they know what they see, right? And I'm trying to peel back the onion in a little bit and show what I'm doing. What I'm trying to do is give them opportunities that they would have never gotten. Yanko said it perfectly. Yeah. You got a lot of talented Dominican actors, Latino actors, Black actors. I'm trying to give them that opportunity. And I've been gracious enough to sign the deal with Fox Soul. They see what I'm doing. The executives believe in me. And because of that, I have to do what I'm doing, driving that narrative forward, forging that path so that these gentlemen can walk right behind me and have those opportunities.
There you go. Last time we spoke, I remember you had told me that, you told your wife, I'm going to spend 10 to 15K on equipment.
10,000,
like, are you insane? Yeah. And, it's like, yeah, I'm insane. It's crazy because as a creator, because I'm insane too, because I spend a couple of this.
I realized never tell her how much money it is to say it's a lot of money.
Listen, I thought it was only my parents I had to lie to like that. I got a lot of my wife too. Hey, don't worry about it. It was like $100. Meanwhile, I'm here spending thousands of dollars on equipment that I have yet to use or even learned how to use. I just want to use it because I know it's for something. And it's going to be something great, right? So it's crazy because as a creator, right? You're a producer. You're creating films. You see the vision before everything.
Oh yeah.
Before the money that is spent,
Yeah.
but then as a creator, at the same time, you don't care how much money it's going to cost. You just throw it at it because money comes, money goes.
Right.
You just want to live your passion and your vision because what else is there? There's a 9 to 5 waiting for you everywhere. What are we going to do? We're going to just stay stuck there. We're not going to be great at whatever it is that we want to be. We have to pursue. 95 or even more % of the world lives like that. I'm comfortable, 9 to 5. This is where I'm at for the rest of my life. Let's be great. Let's take chances. There's going to be a lot of failure in that. There's going to be a lot of loopholes in that. And you understood that immediately. So that's why you keep on just throwing torpedoes everywhere.
There's no growth in the comfort zone.
No.
G, I mean, we've spoken about it. And listen, I drive people crazy. I'm very self-aware that I am received on a level where people think he's out of his mind, he's annoying. Yes, all of those things are true.
They attest to that.
They can attest to that. But what people won't tell you is how passionate I am. I keep my word. I over-deliver. It's not just fluff. It's not just me saying it on a podcast or a news network. I say who I am. I do as I am, and I deliver. And I make sure to always be that person that I needed when I was younger for them. Because I didn't have that advocate. I wish I had a me for me, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. For Yanko and Lance, when the veteran becomes a success, right? What type of doors you think that'll open up for you guys? What type of opportunities do you see ahead?
Well, I don't want to speak for Lance, but for me as an actor, it's just to be given, a real opportunity, not the equal employment opportunity.
Right.
We need to throw a couple of these kind of people so that way we don't get sued opportunities. No, I want you called in to see me act. I want you to then see me act. I want you to see what I can do. Don't ask, because me and Will spoke about this. Don't ask my agent to see me, and then you're not gonna view my submission,
material.
my material. And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand in the industry. And I say that acting, the craft of acting is simple. The industry,
It's a tough one.
the business, that's where a lot of people fail. Because unfortunately, there's 500 acting jobs, but then there's 5 million actors.
You even see well-known, famous actors and producers having these financial issues because of the industry. And it's crazy. And then now you have these Paramounts, Netflixes, and Hulus and taking up the space. And we're going to dive into a little bit of that in a moment, but it becomes, the gap becomes wider as more businesses, like real billionaire businesses, start to take a piece of the pie. So it becomes more of a stressful factor for all the actors and the filmmakers and all that good stuff. What do you feel, Lance?
I think that veteran will open up doors just in terms of seeing what I'm capable of doing, see the talent. Because a lot of times you don't get these kind of opportunities. But when you get the opportunities and you're prepared for those opportunities, that's when it opened up the doors. So I think that for all of us in this film, these type of films where you're getting opportunities to play characters that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to play, you're playing them and people are getting a chance to see it and feel you and see the work you have put in as an actor.
Yeah.
Because like what Yanko said, acting's easy. I don't feel acting's easy.
No,
You know what
I didn't say it was easy. I said it's simple.
Oh, okay.
It's simple.
It's simple.
The
and
concept of acting is simple.
yes.
The business is difficult.
Yes. It's simple, but you have to do the work. Because it's a simple, you are right. It's a simple formula. You have to just the who, what, when, and why, and you have to do your work.
Yeah.
But you have to do the work in order to get that who, what, when, and why.
Yes.
So these type of opportunities showcase the work that we've put in.
Yeah.
And that, I believe, will open up doors.
Yes.
And all we need is a chance.
all
That's
you need
all
is
we're
that
asking.
one
That's
shot.
it.
Yeah.
Is to give us a chance.
Give us a chance.
That's
Let us be able to, audition, and not
Fairly.
a fake audition, a real audition.
Right.
Give us auditions to the real parts.
Right.
Not the imaginary parts. Because that's one thing that people don't understand. That a lot of times auditions that are held for there's classes. There's an A class, B class, C class, D class, E class. Once you get to the F class and down,
Yeah.
it's basically just imaginary parts.
Yeah. Possibly parts of crowds and, just a.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Every actor should be grateful
Definitely.
that they're getting an audition. But again, when the market is oversaturated with 5 million actors for 500 jobs,
You know what? Two things could be true. The market could be oversaturated, but everybody has to step into the process. You just can't jump from F to A. I mean, you could if the right opportunity presents itself, but there is a process. There are some challenges that you have to face because you're being tested all along to see if you're the right person for that part, for example. But that doesn't take away from the person going through that process, right? So, Will, I'm asking you the question a little bit differently because I did some digging and some research, and I saw that 75% of independent filmmakers won Oscars this year. So what does that mean to you? Like, as an independent filmmaker, what type of doors do you see opening up once the veteran reaches that level of success?
Well, Lance just smells really good every time he moves. You
got to make sure.
I gotta wait for the blue de Chanel. I know he smells good, but let me just say that. But I gotta laugh. But it's funny you asked that because I'm listening to both Lance and Yanko speak, and they're making great points. And Lance said that I'm giving him the opportunity. The whole point of creating La Salle Productions was to give actors a creative opportunity, a platform where they can showcase their talents. I'm going to sound like a broken record over and over on that. Yanko also made a great point of giving actors opportunities. I'm working with Mayor Mike Spano. Listen, it's out of my hands. I had Melissa Goldberg come to the premiere. We're trying to start the Yonkers Creative Film Partnership Committee.
Beautiful.
I'm working on that to try to change that. So every time I hear feedback from any of the actors, again, I hold that dear to my heart. I'm saying, what can I do to change it? I take it on in a way where my wife is like, Will, like you can only do but so much. But I said, you know what? That's a lie, because if I live on that limitation, that I can only do but so much, and I can. That some of it is true. Like you said, two things can be true. But I have to work hard for them. I have to be able to at least try to break into the industry to give them those opportunities. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to push that narrative. Now, what pisses me off is the fact that people don't have a certain sense of urgency like me. Like, I like to get things done right away.
Yeah.
You need something done, it's done yesterday. I've always worked around bosses or companies that they drag their feet. I don't want to be that company. And I make sure that my cast knows, hey, we need something. They know it's done yesterday. Will's going to get it done. If something needs to be edited, it's edited that night and put out. Like, I know it's a little crazy. My wife is like, you expect you and other people and then get disappointed. And that's true. But I try to always make sure that I am doing my part for them. The industry, when we look at it, to me, there's no sense of urgency. Like, I'm dealing with Fox. I'm dealing with NBC. I've pitched the film veteran to NBC. They should have a decision in 2 weeks on if they're going to take it onto Peacock.
Right.
Security Guard as well. 2 weeks. Because I guess their Q1 opens up, whatever it is. To get that interview, to even get that Zoom call, was just hurdles. And these guys I'm emailing them, let's say on a Tuesday, they're emailing me the next month. And I'm like, where is the sense of urgency? Like, that's what drives me nuts. So once I make it, they're going to make it. Because if I'm successful, they're both successful. The veteran is successful. Everyone gets a piece of the pie. I'm always trying to give equal opportunity in the sense of giving the actors, changing them up every film. Okay, Yanko, you played the lead. Lance, you had the lead. Let's move you back. Let's bring somebody else that opportunity to be shown, to be seen, and to be heard. That's what acting is. You know, a lot of people don't realize it's a labor of love. It's diving into a character, being someone that it's completely different than who you are, and getting the opportunity for the world to see the work that you've put in, because it's going to show. But whatever work you put in, it's going to show. Yanko can attest to that, and Lance can attest to that because they do the work. Yanko's in the Lee Strasberg Academy. He's phenomenal. He's put in the work. He still puts in the work. Lance is always putting in the work. all the actors are. But for me, it's always giving them more of me. What can I give? And Yanko and I had this conversation in the car. I'm giving so much to this filmmaking stuff and the dream. Something's gonna lack, right?
Yeah,
my marriage has taken a huge hit in this. But what I realize is when you're giving 200% to acting, you're gonna fall short somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's also taking a strain in my personal life, but my wife understands that this is not just a dream, this is my life. Like a lot of people, I'll tell you this, they'll sit there, they make films. They're great. I'm not saying their quality's not better, their audio's not better, but their drive is nothing like mine.
Yeah.
You'll never meet an independent filmmaker that is doing what I'm doing. Putting actors on,
1000%.
giving them press, getting them those opportunities that require a PR person. You're talking about putting them in front of Fox, getting them in front of the executives at Fox Soul.
Millions of viewers.
Millions of viewers. You're talking about revolutionizing independent filmmaking, doing it with no budget, doing it with no resources and no excuses. And the actors are coming on and they're delivering Oscar-worthy performances. They deserve this just as much as I do, if not more, because my company, again, would be nothing without these two gentlemen, would be nothing without all the actors that trust me and give me their time. So what bothers me with the industry is the sense of urgency. It's very lackadaisy. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with them? Like, why aren't they working hard? Like, why aren't they answering an email? Like, you send me an email, I want to answer it right away. My wife is like, Will. But that's just me. I guess I'm always like disappointed when it comes to that. Because I'm like, where's the urgency? Where's the success? Like, to me, that's what success is. It's this. We have a limited time on earth.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know when I'm going to go. I'm praying I get 100 years. Right? That may not be so. But you have to live with a sense of urgency. Forget about film in life. As a parent, there has to be a sense of urgency to get these things done. Yanko and I were talking about parenting, children, everything. And it just needs to be that. And when there's not that, I'm just like flabbergasted. I'm like, what's wrong with these? What's wrong with this person?
It seems like you got to send them the email a month before you want the reply, so that way they can receive it at the same time that you expected to receive it, because there is no sense of urgency.
There's no sense of urgency at all.
There's no sense of urgency. We're living in the microwavable era.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question becomes like, how do you balance like real storytelling? Because the security guard, real storytelling, real situations, everyday life impacted, right? Same thing with the veteran. You create these films that are true stories of real people going through real shit, because someone in America has experienced, in the world, has experienced exactly what you display on film. How do you balance that, creating that as a beauty, right? Versus creating something microwavable that'll go viral in an instant?
I never do anything to go viral. I do it for the love of my heart. Like, I will never make another film just to make it. That's, and moving forward, like, it was always, okay, if I'm moving forward with another project, it has to be better than what we did last time, and I have to outdo it. That's always me. My competition is me. It's like, all right, Will, we annihilated security guard. Now we got it with the veteran. Now we got to annihilate veteran with Lucy. How do we do that, right? So how to do that is to bring in other actors, move them back, move other actors forward so that they get those opportunities now to be seen.
Swap out. Yep.
Right? And for me, it's just working the script. For me, with Lucy, what's going to make or break that film is the meat and potatoes, is the script. It's how we connect emotionally with the audience, right? And I've been doing a lot of research on autism, on how that's handled, the steps before the diagnosis. I want it to be as authentic as possible. We've been talking about including neurodivergent actors into the film, who have autism, who represent Lucy. And I'm going to do that. I already had the Zoom meetings. We're on scene 4 of writing Lucy. It's completely different than Veteran. When you see Veteran, it's a narrative film. Yanko narrates most of it.
Yeah.
Insane. And I did that. The way I shot that film was completely different, because I shot a lot of silent. It was, when you see the film, it's a lot of silent scenes.
Right.
A lot of people didn't catch that. Like, there's nothing happening, just actions.
Yeah.
And then he narrates parts of it. It wasn't overly narrated, and I think that's what made it perfect. And for me, I don't care about going viral. What I care about is making an impact. I'll always say this, and I'll say it now. I don't care about being successful. I care about being significant in what I'm doing and intentional.
And that in itself helps out others as well. It's all about what you can do for others as well, because you may be the factor in someone's life that creates the next Denzel, or, or you gave him that push or that opportunity to go through this process with a specific person like you that's a pusher, 1,000% on top
Oh,
of
yeah.
people all the time.
You guys sick of me yet?
To push somebody to
Nope, not yet.
to create his excellence.
They're not sick of me yet, G. I think I'm good.
Okay, you got 1,000 more percent to go. Then listen, how do you guys feel? So I was born in the '80s too. I'm 44 this year. Pre-internet, right? We're all pre-internet. We could care less about social media, but social media is a tool, so we utilize that as a tool. But with social media, I remember Google being what it is now for these kids. What ChatGPT is now for these kids, that was Google for us when it first came out. How do you feel about AI and the filmmaking industry? Does it help or does it hurt? Because there's a lot of videos, music videos being created with AI. All you put is the two people in there, two faces, and AI just creates everything. How do you feel about that? You coming from the nitty gritty work that you guys are doing every day as actors and producers.
I say for me, nothing can duplicate the authenticity of who you are. I think AI can in some ways help and enhance, but it will never, well, I shouldn't say never because AI is getting so good. It can basically imitate you to the point where
it's scary good.
It's scary.
It's scary.
I just had this conversation with a gentleman 2 weeks ago about where it's going, and the fact that every bit of information that you put out in ChatGPT, you think it's free, but they're taking all that information and amassing it somewhere, and it's going to come a time when that information is going to be like a person that can react in real time. So that's what you have to be scared of.
I think that's the goal.
Yeah.
I believe that's the goal, and it's scary.
Yeah,
that's
very scary.
Goal.
But I think that the only saving grace, and I always say and always believe that there's nobody quite like me in this world. And nobody has had the experiences, nobody has the purpose and the drive quite like me. And that's the thing that separates me from AI. And what I do is I work on myself every single day. I get up 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning with the intention to get 1% better than I was the day before. Because I understand the competition is me against me. Because there's nobody quite like me in this world. And I have to really continue to amplify that because AI is coming.
AI is coming, but you're right. Nobody's quite like me. Nobody can do it quite like me.
That's right. They don't have the same experiences.
Exactly. We got that it factor still.
That's right.
And we will always have that it factor.
That's right.
What about you, Yanko? What do you feel about AI in the industry?
Well, I concur and agree with everything Lance just said. As an actor, to have the idea that someone or something is gonna minimize your opportunities in something that you love to do, that obviously is gonna sting a little bit. But I believe that if the industry goes in the direction where they want to save money and time by creating AI actors, theater is going to become the revolt. There's going to be those that are actually trained actors, are going to be doing a lot of theater. And theater is going to be the thing that everybody's going to want because
it becomes so authentic.
It's going to be authentic. And the only way you're going to be able to experience that moment is by being there.
Oh man, you hit it. You hit it because there's nothing like an in-person experience, right? There's nothing like, because we are living in this microwave era, but people get tired of that shit, man. All this is being thrown at you 1,000 miles an hour. Your mind is not like, I believe we were never as humans made to capture so much information at the same time all the time. So when your mind finally, because it's going to happen, your body or your mind is going to say, reset, please, right? Because I can't take it no more. In the filming industry, yes, theater is definitely going to be a hot commodity at some point once this boils over. So it's crazy. Yeah.
So, Lance and myself, we're theater actors.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, he started in theater. I started in theater. You know, and that's how I got into wrestling, was doing theater first, and that's the true art form, because before there was film and television, there was theater.
Theater was right
You
there.
know, film and television just started in the late 1800s, 1890. Theater has been around 7,000 years. So theater
100%.
is the original art form. So people like me and Lance, who are classically trained in theater, we could get up on stage. Me and Lance right now could do a scene.
Yeah.
And we don't have to be like, oh, they're gonna have to edit this out, and we're gonna need different cuts, and we're gonna need different angles. No, we're gonna be right there, me and him, face to face, mano a mano, and we're gonna be able to carry the scene, because we
Front
don't
and
need
center.
editing and multiple angles to do what me and him do.
It's crazy because I always thought, like, you know, when you start to think about the world and where it's headed, if we get an electrical outage anywhere for months at a time, and people need some entertainment, where are they gonna go? Theater. to watch role plays, and it's gonna become a hot commodity. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Think about breakdancing.
Yeah.
You know, breakdancing is done in person. You know, stand-up comedy.
In person.
That's done in person. You know, live music.
It sounds way better in person.
You know,
Yeah.
so
It definitely does.
the people,
Everything goes back to its origins.
Everything's gonna go right back to its origin.
That's a great
It-
point, man. I didn't even
you know,
never thought about
bands,
that.
you needed actual musicians that played instruments. I mean, you know about merengue.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, merengue bands back in the 80s, they had a 15-piece band.
All types of stuff.
Salsa had 20, 25-piece bands. You know, the people who are not going to be able to, you know, survive once we reset are pop singers, because they need, you know, computers, and they need,
They need that.
They need that.
Yeah, I feel sorry for future generations that all they know is this.
All they know is this, yes.
All they know, because that's another place where we're headed, where I read somewhere the Generation Alpha, right? My kids, they are the first generation to not have the before and after effect, right? Because our generation, we had before internet, with internet.
Oh,
We
okay.
played outside.
Right.
We didn't have social media. We know what it was to get home when the light went out. Like, you know, in DR, we played bitilla, which is like the, you know,
Yeah.
you take a little cap and you had to hit it with a broomstick. And that was the best times, bro. When you have those experiences. And then now, these times, you don't see these kids playing at all.
Outside.
Hardly
Oh.
riding their bikes. All they do is connect on the internet. And that's all they know. So I feel like we're double parenting because of that, because we want to make sure that they at least receive from us what we experience, which they can't because only we experienced it. But I just feel horrible for that next generation that has no before.
Right.
All they know is AI. All they know is this. So we'll see, but it always ends up in the origins, like you just mentioned. So that's always going to be there. Great points. So
Yeah.
a couple of more questions, guys. Thank you for joining the podcast. Thank you for following everybody who's following on YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. But we're having a great conversation here. Just a couple of more questions. When you see, each of you, when you see big players, big platforms such as Hulu, Netflix, Paramount, HBO, as I mentioned before, they're buying up space in the industry. Now, you may get an offer from HBO, but then Hulu's trying to outbid them and all that stuff. Like, my question becomes, does that become better for an independent filmmaker and actors, or did that become another gate to cross over? How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, you guys want me to answer?
You got it first, Will.
I think for me, like talking about like with the Paramount merger and everything happening with that, like I'm in talks with Warner Brothers. I'm actually supposed to fly out to the UK to meet with them.
Beautiful.
I'm still waiting to hear back on what's happening with that. But since that Paramount merger with Warner Brothers, it could affect that. It could end up being nothing. It could be a dead end. But I think it's going to be a lot more difficult. I think with the mergers happening, because now it's less. We're getting less and less. Theaters are going to slowly. What worries me is that theaters are going to start to fade out. Like Yanko was saying with the AI, you can't be saved from the editing when it comes to theater either, because theater it's organic. It's on the fly. The musicians, all that stuff. I love going to a theater. I love going to the movies. And as I'm going to the movies, I'm seeing less and less people, unless there's a really big film coming out there. But I think that,
And even then,
yeah, I think that with all of these mergers and these monopolies, I think it's going to be harder. I think, and then AI is not going to help either because everyone's relying on AI for everything. I just read something about an actor getting paid to do a film, and he never even appeared. It's just an AI film. I have zero respect for that. I have zero creativity. It's going to kill creativity. I'm not a big fan of AI. I think if it's used properly, yes, it can benefit. But we're solely relying on it. Where now you can't even write up an email without ChatGPT. You can't even speak. Like, you have to also have those motor skills to be able to speak, to be able to enunciate, to be able to do all those things. And if you continuously just use ChatGPT and all this AI stuff, you're going to be solely relying on it that you can't even come up with anything. I think it's going to force people not to think for themselves.
yeah.
And the actors, they're definitely going to be threatened by that because they're going to take their likeness, take their images, take all of that stuff. I think it's going to create harder opportunities. Like what Yanko was saying was there are already limited opportunities for Latino and African-American actors. With AI, it's going to be even harder.
It's harder.
I think it's going to really ruin a lot of organic and a lot of talent because it's just going to be oversaturated with, all right, we could just do this for cheaper. The industry is always looking to save money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if
One
they're not
way or
giving,
another.
yeah, one way or another. So I think that along with the mergers, it's only going to hurt us.
It's a sad situation overall because, as I just mentioned, the next generation, all they know is this. Our generation knows how to use things as they are, tools, not the main thing to go by, right? So we can utilize social media as a tool and let it go. We could utilize AI as a tool. Maybe you might need help writing an email, whatever, right? As a tool, but it's not my main go-to. I still have to implement myself into the project, right? To become so it can become authentic. When you're looking at the future and these big players buying up space, the only thing left needs to happen is one of these big players needs to buy a big AI platform that oversees and takes over the entirety of the process, and it's less opportunities for everyone
Way
else.
less.
So it becomes a hindrance all across the board for everybody. All the rich actors, the poor act, whatever, at any level, A or Z, you're gonna feel the impact. What about you guys? What do you guys feel about that type of environment where these big players are taking over the spaces?
Well, it can't be good, because it's a monopoly.
That's exactly what's becoming.
When a monopoly happens, it only benefits the people that are monopolizing.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not a good thing, but when you're doing things because you love it, because you have purpose and you have passion, because one of the reasons why I act, besides the fact that I love it, is to show others that at any age and stage of life, you can reinvent yourself. I wasn't an actor when I was an athlete first, but I want people to understand that you can make a turn.
Yeah.
And if you have the right process and if you believe in yourself, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Now, granted, it's going to be harder because of what's going on with the industry, but don't let that stop you from being the best version of yourself that you could possibly be.
Every step of the way.
Every step of the way. And that's one of the reasons why I have a platform such as you. It's called The Power of Reinvention.
Beautiful.
And my goal is to show people that at any age and stage in your life, you can reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And it may be difficult, but the key is to get around people, that vibrational energy that we were talking about.
100%.
And you circulate yourself around like-minded people and you'll be all right. We'll figure out something. We'll figure it out together.
Everything revolves around that.
That's right. We'll figure it out
Because
together.
all you need is a couple of people that just, I wouldn't even call it haters. I would just call it, they just don't share that vision.
Yes.
And it could turn your whole situation into something else. So, not everyone's going to believe in you, or even when you take a pivot, just know that initially there's going to be challenges.
Absolutely.
And just enjoy the process, man, because that's where the passion comes in. You got to enjoy the pain.
That's right.
You got to enjoy every single, because for every pain that you've endured in this process, each of you, you've seen a good outcome. And now you can look back and say, wow, that was painful, man, but I had to go through that.
That's right.
To learn know how to maneuver, but I'm here now. And now I'm like, what else is there? What other challenge I gotta face? When you reach that level in your process, like what other thing what other wall I gotta break through? Oh man, you're unstoppable.
That's right.
You're unstoppable. Because at that point, you're looking for challenges. You're looking for hurdles.
There you go.
You're looking for ups and downs. You're
Bring
like,
it.
yeah, let's
That's
bring it.
right.
Let's
It's
go.
like, bring it on, baby.
I get
excited.
I get excited when things go wrong for me now.
Yeah.
I used to get flustered and like, damn, why is it happening to me? And I realized I changed my mindset. I'm like, life is happening for me, not to me. Right? I'm not a victim. And I get excited about Mondays, and everyone's like, why do you get so excited? I get excited to go to the gym and work out and work on the next film. And I'm like, all right, what challenges am I going to face? We faced so many challenges during the filming of Veteran. I mean, and it just made the film even better. Yeah. Right? It brought out something in all of us. And I love it. Like, I'm like, all right, God, what is this teaching me? What are you trying to show me? What is, behind every setback is a comeback. And I'm just like, all right, well, what can we do to push past this? I don't see obstacles anymore. I see opportunities. So like, that's why when people are like, Will, like, how are you getting on? How are you doing all this stuff? How do you have all these actors? How are they? I say, they believe in what I'm doing. They believe in the mission. They believe in everything I'm doing. I don't do this for money. I could care less about money. Like Lance said, we do this for passion. Lance wrote a book. They don't make
I haven't made an axe that could chop down a dream.
And he has the 5 keys. What are the 5 keys again, Lance?
5 keys to reinvention. Number 1 is you have to understand that you are all you need to get everything that you want in life. Number 2 is you have to surround yourself around like-minded people. Number 3 is you have to educate yourself fully on whatever it is that you want to do. Number 4, you have to be relentless. And when I mean relentless in your pursuit, don't stop, never quit. And number 5, and this is the most important thing, is you have to believe that you can achieve.
That's beautiful, man.
Yanko also, he's been through so much hardship in his life. He's survived so many different things. He's lived in Miami. He's awesome, man. He's Lee Strasberg Academy. He's always working on his craft. Lance as well, but Yanko's always, every time I speak to him, like, Yanko, what are you doing? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Constant, he's so hungry to learn and just, and listen, I'm gonna say it. What do you say? He's 49, but Yanko doesn't let age or anything limit him. Like he has a family, a beautiful family. He's always looking to improve. Both of these men. But like every time I speak to Yanko, he's like, yeah, I'm in this academy. I'm working on this now. I'm in theater. I'm in this, and both of them. That's why they are so successful in what they do. Like we've gotten so far. And I was telling Yanko this, and people are like, we see all of our success, and people are like, you're so successful, but I don't see it personally because I'm in it, and I'm always hungry for more. And I always feel like, what can I do more, right? You probably the same thing for you, right, G? 100%. Like you see how much you've created the Dad's Group Chat podcast where you came from nothing. And it's like, there's still so much more to do.
A lot. There's a lot of ground to cover in this area.
Sorry, Lance. One thing I wanted to say before we move on to the next one is when Will was saying that he looks forward, like he's looking for a challenge. When we were filming and something always came up that, kind of like we had to pivot.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to see what Will was going to do because he would always find, he's like, okay, we can't do this. We're going to do this. And I was looking forward to that because I'm like, if somebody's going to figure it out, Will's going to figure it out. If there's a will, there's a way.
There you go.
So I always look forward to that. Like when the cops.
Yes, that's what I want to circle
back.
The cops showed up.
Tell me the story.
Let them tell it.
That's what I want to circle back on.
Go ahead.
First of all, there was a few things. We were filming in places that we didn't have a permit for, and so they would come up to Will, and Will's like, "No, that's not true. We could do whatever." No, it's not true. So they would go back and check with their boss, and by the time they finished checking with their boss, we had already shot the scene.
We were done.
You know what I mean?
As a method to my bad.
Great strategy.
This happened not once, this happened like 3 or 4 times. But the other thing I want to circle back on is Yanko. You talk about difficulty. And as an actor, I've always been taught theater-wise, you have to get a warm-up. You have to get in your place and get ready for your scene. Literally, Yanko was playing a homeless guy. He would either come in his outfit or he would pull it out of the back of the seat, put everything on, and get into character within 5 minutes.
Not even.
And be ready.
Instantly.
And I was like, How is he possibly? Because he's literally playing a homeless guy, believable. But it was incredible to me to watch him and his process because it's totally not what we were taught. Yeah. And we both came from theater, so it was always about you got to relax, you got to do your warm up.
Yeah, breathe.
Exactly.
Tell that to the public, right?
Literally,
Tell that to the public.
It was like
he's like, let's go.
Action, and he was like going. And it was like
the public didn't think so. Right? How angry was the public at us? They were so angry.
So much respect for just in that and how he was able to handle that and be able to play that character so authentically. That is very difficult.
Yeah. How did the military, because there's a lot of discipline, and what I'm hearing in the different stories that they're saying about you, I see, okay, that's discipline learned. At what age did you join the military?
20.
20. Same as me. I joined at 19. You know, I want to say my dad did the best he could with me until that point, but it was in the military that I really became a man and learned about discipline and structure. Like I said, my dad also did a lot of that, but I was on my own in the military. I lived on my own, and then my dad gave me the pat on the back, and he was like, "Now you're a man. You taking care of business." But plus, I had the discipline from the military. So when I hear that it's on go immediately, would you say the military experience played a part in that? Or no?
Well, I want to say it maybe enhanced it, or put it into perspective. Yeah. But my mom was a dictator. My mom was.
You was in the military in the house.
She was ruthless. My mother, if she told you to do something, well, I was the only child.
Okay.
So if my mother said, when I come home, there better be no dishes in the sink, you better be in bed, or whatever was the order. If it wasn't done, it was coming with a broomstick. It was coming with violence. It was coming with violence. So, just having pure fear of my mom, but love at the same time, because for me, my mom was everything. I didn't have a dad. I had a father, but there was nobody in the house.
Right.
So my mom was both mom, dad, judge, jury, and executioner, slave master, she was everything.
The whole nine.
So when my mother said something, that was the
law.
That was the law of God. So I got my discipline from that,
Yes.
And then when I played high school football, football camp was brutal. And then when I went into the infantry, I saw everybody crying and vomiting, and I'm like, football camp was harder than this.
I didn't even know he played football.
I didn't even know you played football.
Yeah. Wow. So every day.
So that that discipline, it was from my mother, and then playing
everything
football
else
in high school, and then the military. And I grew up. My mother's family was very dictatorial.
Yeah.
It was, I tell you what to do. Don't ask me how, when, where. I tell you to do it. You do it. That's it. So that's how I was raised. So going into the Army was natural, and playing football was natural because you give me the job and I'm going to do it. Just like working with Will. Will tells me, Yanko, I want X, Y, and Z. Gotcha.
Bingo.
Done. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? How I'm realizing how fear and love are very similar. The reason I say that is because my dad was very like that too. At all times, my sister could tell you. He was like militarized at home, and it was like structure. And a lot of that upbringing shows in my parenting. So structure, discipline. Of course, there's other elements now because these kids are different. But nonetheless, we have to make sure the structure and discipline is in place. So it's crazy how love and fear are somewhat similar because you could inject fear with love.
That's right.
And you could inject love with fear. So it's like it's parallel to each other. It's crazy.
That's right.
It's crazy. So last and final question for each of you individually. And I want you guys honestly to answer this, right? You guys know what you've been through in life, right? Prior to acting, prior to filmmaking, you know the ups and downs, but there's always this one thing that we all experience in our trajectory that was very vital, right? That was very intense. You're looking at your younger self. You're actually looking at your younger self as an adult. What would you tell that younger self that is about to go through life, just like you did, to watch out for?
Watch out for. Thought it was going in another direction. Okay.
Which direction you thought it was going?
What would you tell your younger self?
That's that's okay. You can answer that as well. Then.
Okay. Well, first I would tell myself that everything that you thought you were, you are. And then continue to go after everything that you believe in. Because again, going through the plane crash, train crash, car crash, and then believing from the bottom of my heart that I was a gift from God, because why else would I survive that? And when you believe that, and then you go through life feeling that, and then you see that you could do anything that you want if you put your mind to it and you have those systems and structures. So I would say, just do exactly what you feel and you'll be all right. You know what I mean?
And there's going to be a lot of fear throughout all of that, because I'm pretty sure you were scared in all those instances where you almost lost your life.
Well, the first one, the first and the last. God damn it, the first and the last.
Yeah.
The plane crash was fear, but I was asleep half the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And then once I got through the plane crash, when I was in a train accident, I had no fear because I had already been through a train. So I was trying to help everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I got into the car crash. I was like calm.
Yeah.
You know, it was only when I almost drowned that it still affects me until this day. That was traumatic.
Wow.
Because I watched a friend of mine drown right in front of me and we could do nothing about it.
Wow.
And that still affects me till this day. You know what I mean? But those incidents, it was like I took the trauma and turned it into treasure. I don't know why or how, other than God
being by your side,
putting his hand on my and saying, you've been chosen.
Yeah.
So the thing I would say to myself is everything that you believe in, your purpose, you've been chosen. Go about and keep moving and do his work. Do his work.
What about you, Will?
Oh man, I would probably say to my younger self that as an older person, I'd probably say you're gonna heal your inner child. It's gonna be a long road, but no matter what happens in life, everything that you want in your life will come true as long as you continue to put the work in. Fear is part of the process. Fear is a liar. And I would tell my younger self that no matter what you actually want in life, your purpose will always be your purpose. No one can take it away from you. I think that as we get older, I think that most of us, we deal with so much childhood trauma that we never really address. And I speak from my own experiences. I think that losing my dad to cancer, having my mother have stomach cancer, survive that, and finding my way to where I'm at today, right? I never thought that if you would have told me and said, hey, Will, look, you're going to be a filmmaker, I would have told you you're a liar. Because I never thought it was possible growing up in the Bronx, growing up in public housing. Those are things that just don't happen to people like us, right?
Yeah.
People like me.
100%.
You see that on TV, right? Like Yanko would definitely agree with that. And I think that if I'm telling my younger self something, I would say continue to fail your way to success. Dreams don't quit, people do.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What about you, Yanko?
It's funny because what I would tell my younger self is exactly what, I tell my 5-year-old son. And I make sure that whatever I wish I could have had done for me, I do for him. And one thing that I know for a fact would have helped me growing up is if I would have learned how to box. And not having a father, not having brothers, and not having uncles to defend me and protect me whenever I got jumped, got my coat stolen, got my sneakers stolen, got thrown down the stairs, or whatever the case may be. I didn't have anybody to fight for me or be able to defend me. If I would have had somebody come to me and say, learn how to fight, learn how to box, because once you're not afraid of getting punched in the face, you won't be afraid to stand up and do what's right. There you go. So I was telling Will this, me and my friends now who are all in our late 40s, you know, we have moments where we sit around and we have honest, you know, conversations about why we did some of the bad things that we did growing up, you know, and peer pressure when you want to be accepted is a quick default to do something immoral. You know, joining gangs, hooky parties, you know. First of all, one thing that I already tell my daughter and I tell my son, dating without wanting marriage is useless. Useless. It is a waste of time. Dating before the age of 30, it is a waste of time. It is.
Okay.
It is. It's a waste of time. You know why?
Especially if you're not looking for your mate.
But here's the thing. Think of all the people who are corporate billionaires and millionaires right now.
Right.
Did any of them had relationships before they had their money?
No
Nope.
high school sweethearts, no none of that.
Exactly. They focused on whatever it was that they wanted to be the kings of.
Yeah.
And then once they got that, then they started getting the girls.
Yeah.
I tell my 18-year-old daughter that. I said, no matter what boy likes you, he's only going to want to hit it, and he's going to get rid of you the moment one of your friends wants to get with him. Don't fall for that nonsense. I tell her all the time. So that's one thing, that if I would have been strong enough to avoid peer pressure, I would have not wasted 10 years of my life being a delinquent.
It's crazy because you're saying had you had brothers, uncles, a father, you know, I can't stress you enough because I had a lot of uncles, a lot of cousins, male cousins, and my father, of course, in my life. I have over 15 uncles, right? I had a lot of them pass away, may they rest in peace, but that does play a good part in your upbringing when men are raising men. It does. It shifts, because had it not been for my dad, I'd have been joining the gang a long time ago. I had so much confidence in my dad. Like I always used to go with him with shit that kids normally don't go up to parents. I went up to him one time, yo, dad, can I sell? Because they're selling and this is how much they're going to pay me. And this was like at 13. I had that much confidence in my dad. He opened up that space while being like the wild disciplinarian and stuff like that. So there's a lot of pain in there as well. But I appreciate those words. And, you know, he told me, no, you're not going to be a gang member. I'm the gangster here. I'm the only gangster here. You're not going to be a gang member. So he always showed up in that way. Did he fail at certain points? Of course. You know, he was parenting for the first time too, just like I am right now. So there's going to be a lot of that. But there are key things that I remember. And one thing that I would tell myself, my younger self, is listen more. Because there's a lot of conversations from those uncles that I carry to this day that I remember when I was 12, my uncle said this, and that shit pops up somewhere down the line. My other uncle said this, my dad said this. So these are things these small conversations that are like nothing at the moment that I may have not paid attention to. I meant to say pay attention instead of listen. Pay attention more. Because I did hear it. I just didn't pay attention until I became an adult. So that's the one thing I'll tell myself, my younger self as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the podcast, man. This is a great conversation about filmmaking, actors, you know, our lives. Thank you so much for sharing details about yours. Any last things you want to say to the camera before you guys go?
Check out The Veteran, coming out soon, April.
Yes, sir.
Look for it on all streaming platforms.
The Veteran, baby.
The Veteran. Check out The Veteran. And just thank you to you, and thank you for your platform. This was an enlightening conversation, and I just learned some things about my fellow actors that I didn't know. I didn't know he played football, so that we
just when we think we know a guy,
Yeah. I played football, you know.
Yeah, but just This was just an incredible conversation, man. Real, and I appreciate the platform.
Appreciate you too.
Thank you for having us, G.
Thank you guys for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
Listen, for all of you guys tuning in via YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all your listeners, thank you so much. We're in different markets, different countries, audio-wise. Like, this has hit outside of the United States dramatically. It's like, it's incredible. Every time I look at the stats, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Indonesia. I'm in somewhere else. Like, so it's really impacting. So, you know, I may not see it, but I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I have great guests such as Will, Yanko, and Lance here. I have an immense amount of great content coming as well. So thank you all for tuning in always and supporting the podcast. Will, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
Yanko
having
and
us.
Lance, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Peace out, guys.